At the Baxter building, the thing steps inside, calling out, "Reed, you in here?" He mutters about how they were supposed to meet at the crash site, but naturally the world's smartest guy, Reed Richards, managed to forget an important meeting like this. Suddenly, he hears a loud whacking noise behind him, catching him off guard. He turns his head, trying to identify the source of the noise, and steps towards something covered with a black cloth. Slowly, he pulls the cloth back and wonders, is this thing alive? As he observes an ominous shadow within the contraption in front of him. Just then, Reed steps in, moving closer to the thing, and casually explaining that, based on their understanding of metabolism, growth, reproduction, and functional activity, he'd say the creature inside the glass is indeed alive, perhaps even sentient. It's fascinating to him, an organic symbiote that returned to Earth attached to their web-slinging colleague in the form of a costume. The thing steps back from the symbiote as Reed elaborates that, after they managed to detach it from Spider-Man, they kept it here for further study and evaluation. Naturally, the symbiote has garnered plenty of interest. Reed explains that he and his team have already dealt with multiple break-in attempts aimed at stealing it, given its unique properties. As Reed continues rambling about their advanced security system, the thing interrupts. "You forgot our anniversary, Reed." Reed, a little startled, responds that he didn't forget. He explains that the thing had just returned from months in space, and considering what this date means for him, Reed figured it'd be best to give him some space to process things on his own. The thing looks at Reed, urging him to tell the truth. "You're afraid of feeling guilty for what you did, for turning me into a monster," he says with sadness evident on his face. As he points at the symbiote, he adds that maybe Reed should have put him in a glass jar as well. Reed responds, saying that Ben should know how much he means to him. Ever since the incident, Reed has been tirelessly searching for a cure for the thing, and he won't stop until he finds one. Reed considers the thing family, and he would do anything for him. In that moment, the thing glances at his communicator and receives a message from Sue. "Reed, darling, the reporter is here," she informs him, letting him know that the reporter is waiting. Reed had said he would be back in just a minute. He apologizes to Sue and tells her that he's on his way. As he walks towards the door, he looks back at the thing and tells him that they will continue this conversation later. He suggests that the thing should swing by for dinner since Sue is trying her hand at making lasagna. The thing replies that he'll consider whether or not he can come after checking his schedule. The thing shifts his gaze to the symbiote and he asks if he can believe it. Reed will never understand what it feels like. He reflects on the strange looks and gasps from people who whisper about him, as if he can't hear, calling him names and hiding their children from him. As he rants, he suddenly notices the symbiote slamming itself against the glass. Startled, he turns to the symbiote and says, "What are you trying to do?" His heart races, unsure of what might happen next. Venom tries to convince the thing to let him out. The thing apologizes and says he can't let him out. Venom tells him that he can help, and the two reach a mutual agreement to help each other. The thing presses the red button, releasing the symbiote. "You help me," he says as Venom jumps onto him. Weak man, strong body, the perfect host. The thing is a better host suited to the symbiote's proclivities than the webslinger. As the thing is consumed by Venom, Reed walks in, asking why he's still here and mentioning that he heard a loud noise. He's shocked to see the thing with Venom as his suit. A host so broken by his desire to be human that he would bargain with the remnants of his own humanity. Reed stares in disbelief at the creature the thing has become. A man with a strong body, but a weak will. "It called to me," says the thing. Reed tells him he doesn't understand. That being infected through Spider-Man may have enhanced some of his abilities, but it also amplified his emotional responses, latching onto his conscience. The thing says he understands, staring out the window. It's golden hour, with a rush of gold in the sky, signaling that the sun is about to set. "It wants to help," says the thing as Venom disappears beneath the surface of his skin. He tells Reed that Venom promised to help, looking happy as he stares at his human hands and skin, unaware of the danger. Reed knows Ben wants this, but he also knows this isn't the way. Quietly, Reed sneaks behind the thing, holding a gun in his hands, and warns him that the symbiote is very dangerous. "I'm sorry," says Reed as he points the gun at the thing. "No," pleads the thing, but Reed wastes no time and fires the beaming gun at him. The thing manages to dodge, the window behind him shattering into pieces from the gun's immense power. Reed tries to reason with the thing, promising that they will find another way. The thing becomes angry, with Venom taking over his body. He tells Reed that he did find a way, but now Reed wants to stop him because Reed's ego can't handle not being the one to figure it out. The thing stands, ready to fight, and lunges at Reed. Reed tries to tell him that's not it at all, that he should listen to how irrational he sounds, but he can't reason with the thing in his current state. He has no clear thoughts left in his mind. The thing snatches the gun from Reed's hands with immense force. Reed, desperate, tries once more to tell him that this isn't him, that he's losing himself in the symbiote's influence. The thing crushes the gun in his hands, the metal bending and snapping under his grip. "That's where you're dead wrong," he says coldly. "This is the most me I've felt since that damned accident." Reed watches in shock as the crushed remains of the guns fall to the floor with a metallic clank. As the thing transforms back into his human form with Venom's help, he glares at Reed. "Do me one favor," he says, his voice steady and unwavering. "Stay the hell out of my way." Without another word, he turns and walks out, leaving Reed in stunned disbelief. Elsewhere, in a dark, damp gutter, a reptilian creature stirs, noticing a change in the air. He sniffs, his senses alert. "It is free," he hisses, his voice echoing ominously as he makes his way out of the gutter. His shadow, long and menacing, stretches behind him like a dinosaur's, an indication of the lurking danger. There has to be a way, Reed mutters as he thinks aloud. If that symbiote can maintain Ben molecular structure, then it should be possible to remove it without destabilizing him. Glass crunches beneath his feet as he speaks. Deep in thought, Sue, standing beside him with her arms folded, watches Reed, her face filled with worry. She reminds him that he can figure out how to keep Ben human after he separates them, but warns that the longer the symbiote stays, the more unpredictable it becomes. Reed nods, but his gaze is distant. Venom taps into its host's subconscious, their deepest desires, he says, looking out over the city. "If I take away the suit, I'll be taking away the one thing that's brought Ben the closest he's ever been to looking human since the accident." Sue speaks up, her tone firm. "But with that suit, Ben's more of a threat to himself and others. It's our responsibility to handle this, even if Ben doesn't like it." Reed sighs heavily, turning to face her. "It's my responsibility," he replies. "I have to be the monster so that Ben doesn't lose his humanity." The thing is all smiles, strolling down the busy streets, greeting everyone he passes. His cheerful charisma catches the attention of several ladies who smile and wave back. He wishes them a nice day with a wink, clearly enjoying the attention. As he walks by a shop window, he catches his reflection and grins, pointing at himself. "Looking good, Grim, looking good," he chuckles, feeling almost like his old self. But his confidence falters when he spots Venom starting to creep over his skin. Alarmed, he realizes something isn't right. He senses a strange presence approaching and instinctively gets ready for an attack. He carefully moves around the corner of a building, searching for any signs of his would-be attacker. He notices something seeping out of a nearby gutter lid, just as the cover bursts open, sending debris flying. He squares up, warning whoever or whatever is behind the smoke, "Whatever you are, you're gonna be real sorry." The smoke clears, and standing before him is the lizard. With his green scales and long tongue staring at him, he wears a lab coat and ripped jeans, all his clothes worn out. The lizard hisses, "The only thing I'm sorry about is how the Fantastic Four have treated you." The thing, unfazed, replies that since the webhead isn't around, he gets to do the punching today. The lizard raises a clawed hand, attempting to reason with him. "I'm not here to fight." But the thing interrupts, lunging forward with a mighty swing that smashes the lizard into the wall. "Too bad, it's clubbering time," he shouts, reveling in the battle. Recovering slowly, the lizard meets the thing's gaze and taunts him, calling him a dehumanized monster, unloved even by the man who created him. "My allies, they've listened. They know your struggles," he sneers. Pausing to catch his breath, hands on his knees, the thing's eyes narrow with rage. He grabs the lizard by his neck, lifting him off the ground. "It ain't talking time. It's club." But the lizard cuts him off. "The Fantastic Four lied to you, Ben." The thing's grip tightens as anger flares up in his eyes, and he forces the lizard back against the wall, pinning him by his throat. "You don't know what the hell you're talking about," he growls, his voice low and menacing. Lizard tells the Thing that people say he's one of them, but that's only because they're afraid. The Thing grows angry, telling Lizard he doesn't understand. But Lizard insists that he looks at him. People fear him because of his looks. The scales, the teeth, the tail. He knows he'll never be accepted, even when he tries to do good. Fear drives people to hate him. He asks the Thing if that sounds familiar. The Thing tells Lizard that he's hurting people as both Dr. Connors and the Lizard. He expresses his dislike for Lizard and releases him from his grasp. As Lizard catches his breath, he says that without the Fantastic Four on his side, does the Thing really think he'll be seen as a hero? All Lizard ever wanted was to find a way to help others to regenerate limbs. He used himself as his own test subject and succeeded, but no one else sees this as success. And yet, he has never stopped trying to help. Even when the Fantastic Four misunderstood his intentions and the world hated him, Lizard says he understands that the Thing wants to help too. But that suit, the one that cured his curse, could help thousands of people. You think? Asks Ben, feeling a flicker of doubt. Lizard replies that he knew there was something special about Spider-Man's suit when they returned from Battleworld. He just didn't realize how special. Sharing the Thing's cure is what a real hero would do. Lizard expresses that he can help the Thing do it. He can help him share his gift. At the Lizard's makeshift lab in the gutter, the Thing stands inside a glass contraption and asks if he's certain about this, if he has ever actually tested it. Reed always said any good experiment needs testing, at least once. The Thing remarks cautiously. Lizard taps on his computer, dismissing his concerns. Listening to Reed Richards has only caused problems, he says sharply. He tells the Thing that listening to him turned him into a monster. The Thing hesitates, only wanting to be sure it will work. Lizard promises that it will, and he presses a red button that immediately begins extracting venom from the Thing's body. The Thing writhes in pain, screaming and begging Lizard to turn it off. Watching in horror as venom leaves his body, he realizes that it is too late and that the Lizard has deceived him. I promised to help share your gift, Lizard sneers, looking at the glass holding in the symbiote. And now I've succeeded. Cursing at Lizard, the Thing thrashes against the glass, trying desperately to break free. As venom is removed, the Thing begins to turn back into his original, stony form. He stares at his hands as they revert to their rough, rock-like texture. Lizard grins and tells him that he never lied. He had warned the Thing that people would fear them because people fear what they don't understand. That fear turns to hate. Lizard continues, but now I'll give them a reason to hate. The Thing stares back, caught between shock and terror, uncertain of what Lizard plans next. He realizes that his first victim is going to be the Thing's best friend, Mr. Fantastic. Meanwhile, in his office, Reed is preparing for action. Sue tries to persuade him not to face this alone, suggesting that they call in Johnny and She-Hulk for backup. But Reed remains adamant. It has to be me, he insists, picking up his weapon and steeling himself. Sue warns him against that. He doesn't need to face the Thing alone, especially since his abilities have changed. But Reed cuts her off, declaring that the discussion is over. Suddenly, an alarm blares and the door smashes open. It's Lizard. Reed is shocked to see Dr. Connors and urgently demands to know where Ben is. The floor caves in from the impact of Lizard's deadly attack, and both Reed and Sue tumble into the lower portion of the building. Sue is injured while Reed's face is smashed into rubble by Lizard's assault. Taunting him, Lizard asks if Reed is ready to witness the full potential of his symbiotic suit. Meanwhile, the Thing trapped in his glass prison desperately tries to break free as he slowly reverts to his rocky form, while Reed endures the beating and Sue attempts to fight off Lizard. The Thing finally manages to shatter his containment, but he isn't in time to save Sue, who is gravely wounded by Lizard. While holding up Reed, Lizard seizes him and in one horrifying movement, bites his arm clean off. Just then, the Thing charges in, shouting for Connors to face him instead, but Lizard coldly replies, "It's too late," and snaps Reed's head clean off his body. Devastated, the Thing can hardly process what he's just seen. Looking down at Reed's lifeless form, he murmurs, "Reed, don't be gone. I need you." Tears fall down his face as he apologizes, blaming himself for what has happened. With nothing left to hold him back, rage consumes him, and he revs up to attack Lizard. They crash through the side of the building, landing with a tremendous impact. We create monsters, and watch as they hold up a mirror. Greed, anger, hatred, insecurity, doubt. Our monsters grow as we feed them, and eventually they consume us. Venom switches sides, merging once more with the Thing. They smash into the ground with earth-shattering force, and the Thing crushes Lizard's head into fragments. Moments later, the police arrive, surrounding the Thing, who stands amidst the destruction, transformed by grief, rage, and power.